All right, good morning. Happy Friday. My special guest today is a dancer turned singer turned actor, and who knows what's going to become after that. But Giju John, welcome.
Thank you, Rod. Glad to be on your vlog. This is really nice, man. I haven't seen you in a long time since I moved out of the Bay Area. And it's
Last time I saw you was during my festival. We had a plan there for a moment, but
right.
it didn't really
Right.
materialize. But you know,
Right.
it's never the end, right?
Right. Correct.
Yeah, man, it's like this pandemic thing. It's just been crazy in the dance industry, as you know.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we never thought that the dance industry will stop just like that. We never really predicted that.
Right. Right.
But
I mean, you never thought of, you could never, I mean, we have heard about pandemics and things like that, but you never thought that could become a reality that you would face, right? So you're not really prepared for that.
I never thought a dance will ever end. Like, it's an addiction, dude. Nobody ends
Right.
that. But, you know,
Correct.
it took a pandemic like this.
Yeah.
And I mean, every day gets worse.
Yeah. Well, I'm staying very hopeful. Let's, probably in a few months or so, we can somewhat get back to, normal.
How's your wife, Kristen, doing?
She's doing great. She's here. I think she just took our dog out. She'll be
that's
back
good.
soon. Yeah, she's doing wonderful.
And you guys live in Florida now?
Austin. Yeah.
Oh, that's where the liberal people in Austin, Texas is, and everybody else is conservative, right?
Pretty much. We're almost like in a bubble, right? So it wasn't too much of a shock for us to move from California, from the Bay Area to Austin, because the culture, the values are, pretty much similar, I would
That's
say.
what I heard. Yeah.
And it's a phenomenal music scene, as you can, this is the live music capital city of the world, right?
Is it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's probably the reason, because I was just going to ask you why you moved there from California.
Yeah, I mean, we have been wanting to get out of there for a little bit, things were getting a little too hectic, work-wise and everything. So Austin was a good change of pace.
Yeah.
So we
what do you think is the difference between Austin and San Francisco?
I think the main thing that I could notice was less stress. People are less stressed, even at work, my daytime job, I see that the work culture and the pace and the overall outlook of people, it's much different than what I've used to in the Bay Area, and people have more time to take care of themselves, and people are more, I would say, more friendly, I would think,
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
because if you're less stressed, that kind of, reflects in your outward appearances and behavior as well, right?
I mean, Reno is where I live now. Recently changed my license. It took me 3 years to change my license because I wasn't into it yet. But the difference when it comes to the vibe and attitude, you're correct. You could sense the difference when you get out of California.
Mm-hmm.
So people are a little nicer. They say hi to you.
Right.
More polite and all of that stuff,
right.
especially in Texas, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, the Southern hospitality thing, right? But yeah, I think it was too much. I think people are really stressed, especially with work situation.
Yeah.
And everything, and in California, that is, at least in the Bay Area. So it's really nice. We absolutely love living here. And we have the ACL, one of the biggest music festivals, South by Southwest.
Yeah.
It's humongous, right? So yeah, all in all, and it's a great food scene as well.
Really? Well, I heard that these are big portions.
Yeah, it's not really.
Yeah.
Not everywhere. I mean, there are a lot of these farm to table restaurants now, more like the Californian style, that kind of more refined. I don't know if that's the right term to say, but it's more refined. And but again, a very wide range of flavors, and even mixology is pretty huge here. So it's a pretty good spot, man. yeah, overall.
You know, you and I go way back in the salsa mania days, room parties and salsa mania barbecue and shit, man. Those were the days.
Those were the days. I know it sounds cliched when you say that, right? Good old days, or those were the days, but they really were, you know.
I even judged in several contests there, including the salsa mania contest where you guys won at Roku. I remember that.
Yeah.
Man, I still remember like yesterday, but it kind of take me a while to process that it was a long time ago.
Right. Yeah. We're somewhat stuck in time, I feel like, in the salsa world, at least, in a positive way, I would say. Yeah.
Brother, when I interview people like this, I research them. I know you already, but I don't know your acting history. Right. So I researched you a little bit. Boy, you made several movies there already, from even in 2016 all the way back 2016, right?
Yeah. I think
was that Love Wrinkle something?
Love Wrinkle 3. Yeah, Love Wrinkle 3 was the first film. That was my foray into the film industry, actually. And
how big of a part did you have there?
So interestingly enough, for Love Wrinkle 3, my role was more of a producer.
Got it.
Right. And I never thought of getting into the movie industry to begin with. That was not my thing. It was not even in my plan of things I wanted to do in life. But I happened to produce 2 songs for that film.
Got it.
And that was also in this Latin Indian genre.
Yeah.
And it just happened that the producer of the film backed out at the last moment. And the director was a very close friend of mine, and by that time I was emotionally very much invested in the film, right? So then I decided to, find another partner and then produce the whole thing. That's how I got into, the film industry, and I really enjoyed that whole filmmaking process and the producing part. It's not that different from my engineering job in the sense it's like management, project management, right? So I really enjoyed that whole process of taking something in a script form to the big screen, right? That whole process. And then since then, I started producing more films, again, small films, indie films, and slowly, got more serious about acting.
Yeah, like you got is that Freelancer? Is that another one you produced?
Yes, that was the third one that I produced. The second one that I produced, actually, you may find it interesting, is called Hola Venki. So this was shot pretty much entirely in the Bay Area.
Are you serious? How come I've never seen that? That's a movie?
It's a movie. It's on YouTube, actually.
Is it on YouTube? Okay.
Yeah, this was an experimental film that we did, shot for like very small, like micro mini budget, I would say. I think around like $20,000 US. That was it. This was a full-length feature film, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know Sonia Bakasa. She's in the south. She was in the south in the south, in the San Jose.
Probably know her face because I'm not good with names, bro. Yeah.
So she was the lead actress.
I see.
Yeah. So it was an Indian Mexican love story, but a comedy love story.
Okay.
And you will see a lot of familiar faces from the salsa scene.
Well, I'm gonna search that tonight, man.
Yeah. So that was the second one. Third one was the Freelancer.
Okay, it's Freelancer, yeah. And from those films, did you have in your mind as like, I could actually do some acting here? Or maybe somebody discovered you, maybe he can do some acting here.
Right.
Whereas, aside from Forensic, there was a film before that, which was, I think you were some type of FBI agent.
That was the first major film that I did. It's called Ranam, means the war.
Ranam, yeah.
And then the second one after that, Lucifer, not the show, the film.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest blockbusters, that year.
Yeah, I was searching that. Yeah, Forensic. Let's talk about Forensic because I was watching it last night.
Right.
We can't reveal. Can we reveal what happened later? Or we don't have to, huh?
I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, I would have never thought that's you. I was looking, I was like, is that him? That's like, what happened?
Yeah, I think the funny thing is that the people who knew me, in person, they actually were even more shocked.
Wait, was that all makeup, or you practically ate a lot?
A little bit So I kind of prepped for the role, and I'm sure the facial hair and everything kind of added, for the effect. And but all the physical appearances we did it. I had to do all of that.
I was reading some of the review. The critics liked it.
It was pretty good, and especially a film that is focusing on the forensic techniques, right? Usually, when you see forensic technique, it's usually a part of the crime investigation in films, right? It's one of the aspects that come in.
Yeah.
But in this case, this was the focus. I mean, forensic was the focus. So from that angle, it was a fresh take on the crime investigation. So and the writer director, they researched the heck out of it. So whatever they put out there was backed by science, forensic science. So a lot of people enjoyed it.
It was very interesting to watch your transformation during the movie.
Yeah.
Because all I have to do is look at your eyes and your face, your facial expression, and your demeanor, and then it changes till to the end. It's like, Jesus God. Great
Thank you,
job,
man. I appreciate it. I really
Did you take some acting lessons, or just a natural thing?
I did. So interesting that you asked previously that, was it during the producing of the film that I realized, my interest in acting.
Yeah.
Actually, it's even before that. If you remember the first music video that I did, the salsa music video with Judah and Emily, John and Lucifer, right?
Yeah.
So that was the first time I actually faced camera. Until then, I was very much comfortable about performing on stage. That was something I did all my life, right?
Sure.
But that was the first time when I was, emoting and performing in front of the camera. I kind of realized that, I'm comfortable. I can feel that I'm confident, because I was a bit nervous, before that. So that was the trigger point, actually. That's when I thought, this is something I should pursue, right? But obviously at that time, I was very much invested in the whole salsa dancing and music production and everything. Didn't get that much, time. But I slowly, once I did my first movie, produced the movie, I did a small role in there. But as a preparation to that, I started taking acting lessons. So in San Francisco, there's this Stella Adler's School of Acting. They primarily focus on method acting. Right? So I did take some lessons. And then after that, once you talk, once you have the discussion with the director, they have a certain vision in their mind about that particular character, right? So you guys, kind of discuss it, and then you also go through your own process of how to bring that particular character out, aligned with the director's vision, right? So it's a nice organic process, I would say.
So you got the producing part, you got now the acting part. Are you thinking of directing some in the future?
Not sure. I've never thought of it because I don't think so, man.
It's a tough job, isn't it?
It's a very tough job. It's very, very tough. I mean, hats off to. It's interesting because prior to getting into the film industry, right, when you go and watch any movie, if we don't like it, we will just trash it, right? I mean, there's no mercy, right?
Yeah.
That is the response as a viewer. But once I got to know, what really goes behind, filmmaking as a craft, right? Even if it's a bad movie, it still takes a lot of effort, creative and physical both, right? So I've become more mellowed, in my response to films, even if I don't like them. But yeah, back to your question, being directing is a very, very tough job, and I think you need to have a certain, a different type of sensibility, on compartmentalization, vision, all of those things.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think I will do it, but hey, never say never. Right?
Let's go back to your dance days. You guys competed a lot. You guys performed a lot. You guys traveled all over the world. What was your most fun memory?
Oh man, dude, that's a tough one, bro. You know,
I know there are many. I know this, but at least you can pick a few.
Okay, so definitely winning the competition.
That was good, man, because you defeated a consistent
Mamba
champion.
Romero, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
They're still in my mind. They're one of the best teams ever, right?
I agree.
And especially Gabriel Romero. I think he's a phenomenal choreographer.
He still is.
But what I'm saying is that even compared to some of these high-profile choreographers that we see now, even compared to that, the old Mamba Romero choreography still match up, right?
Yes.
So to beat them, to win that year was definitely a huge moment.
Yeah.
Then one of our first trips, like overseas trips, with Salsa.
How was that?
We went to Spain, Santiago, specifically that place, and it's an old town.
Yeah.
And to be able to, and this, I think my 5th or 6th year with Salsa. That's when we started traveling, outside, right, United States. John and Liz had traveled already, but as a team, that's around the time when we started traveling. So that was a phenomenal experience, especially in a different country, right?
Yeah.
A completely different audience. The only thing that connects you is the love for salsa.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And that connection was strong enough to keep all the other things, at bay.
Yeah. Now, from there, then you got into singing. Have you always sang?
Yeah, so I've always been a singer. So singing has been my, I don't know, my obsession or my primary passion since I was a kid. I was trained when I was growing up in India. I was trained in Indian classical music, and also Indian classical dance, one of the dances. So it's been always there, throughout my growing up process. When I was in high school, when I was in college, even after coming to the United States, I still kept that alive, So I was still singing in music bands and stuff, right? So when I found salsa, which became my newfound love, singing was always there in the back of my mind, right? And I would look for opportunities where I could perform and things like that. So I think it's, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but with your question, with the questions that you have in mind. But I think it was around 5-6 years into my salsa life. It just dawned on me one day that, hey, man, I have this newfound passion and love for salsa music and salsa dance. There's so much connection I have there. I almost feel like I'm a Latino, I was like, why don't I combine this, with the Indian music style that I'm proficient in? And that way I can kind of connect two cultures through connecting two styles of music. And no one has done that either.
It was your most brilliant decision, I have to say.
Oh, thank you.
It was brilliant because just think of, we have some Latin community. Then we have a minuscule of community in the Bay Area. But then you're talking about India, bro.
Yeah.
How many population is that?
Right, yeah. 1.2 billion to be precise. Yeah.
Brilliant. And that album did great.
The first album did really well. Yes, and that did opened up a lot of opportunities for me, right? But at the same time, since I did not pursue it as a full-time musician, so there were drawbacks from that as well. Because I didn't take the plunge.
Yeah.
Because obviously I had my full-time job, I had my family obligations and things like that. I couldn't just leave everything. Although I had an opportunity, I had an offer to do that.
Yeah.
Move back to India and become and sign with a label and become an artist, right?
Sure.
But I couldn't afford to do that. So I remained an independent artist. And so it was always a tough thing to get my songs to as many people as possible.
Would you say that you missed that window of opportunity there?
I don't think so, because I'm very much happy with the path that I have chosen.
Got it.
Right? Because I dictate the pace and the way I want to do things. Right?
Got it.
because of that, I didn't have to compromise on the style of music, right? Because if I had signed with a big label, then obviously they will have a major say
Yeah.
in the music that I produce, right? Because they will, justifiably so, they will look at the business side of things, right? So in this case, I didn't have to. I just worked at the pace that I set for myself, and didn't compromise on the vision that I had for my work. Yeah.
That song that you guys filmed with Emily and Bay Area Salseros,
Yeah.
it was played many times at congresses for at least 2 years.
Yeah, it was, and I remember it was in the San Francisco Salsa Festival.
Of course,
that
yeah.
It was the first time. I remember Albert Torres, he introduced that video.
Yeah.
And I think he was managing Emily and Juno at that time as well.
That was also the first time I realized that one of these days, if Emily Alabi ever pursue acting, camera loves her.
Right? And she was just 16 at that time when I shot that music video.
Yeah.
And she's pursuing it, right? She's following her dreams. Yeah.
And then from there, because I know you're pretty much in tune to our industry, then you got into, hey, what about a bachata music Indian version? I was listening to it today, just the beat in itself. Once you hear that bass come in, that's it. You got it. You have to dance with it. So what was your thought process in doing that from salsa to bachata?
So remember the first movie that the Love Wrinkle Tree?
Yes.
That we talked about?
Yeah.
So the two songs that I produced in that film, one was a hardcore mambo. Hardcore mambo song, right?
Yeah.
Because in my first album, I did, because I wasn't sure how the Indian audience would take salsa or mambo in its full, pure form, right? So I did minor adjustments here and there to make it a little more appealing to the Indian audience or the non-Latin audience. But for this mambo song, it was hardcore mambo. And it was Darius Johnson. Do you remember him? He was in South Mania, then he When he moved to UK, he has a band, Salsiology, there.
Yes.
So he was the one who orchestrated the entire thing. Wow. And it was badass. And the second song was a bachata song, actually. It was called Mi Corazon. Yeah. And I had Vasily, and there's another guitarist from the Bay Area who did the guitar there.
Yeah.
So that was my first time I did the bachata, right? And this was the time when bachata was getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
And the situation for this particular song in the film also kind of required a little bit more of a lovey, mellow kind of thing. So that's what I decided to go the bachata route. After I did that, I think 3 or 4 years later, that's when I decided to do bachata Hindu. And the thought process behind that album was that the previous songs that I've done, be it the mambo one or the bachata one, the language was Hindi. The lyrics were in Hindi.
Yeah.
Right. There were some Spanish lines, but predominantly they're Indian language.
Yeah.
So what I realized was that at some point I hit a wall, because the mainstream DJs, salsa DJs, they were finding it hard to play the songs at the clubs, right? So obviously, not all of the dancers out there can understand Spanish.
Yeah.
But they recognize the sound of Spanish, right? So there's a little bit of familiarity there. So if you play a song which is not sounding Spanish or English, there's a little bit of a disruption in the flow for the dancers, right? So I think the DJs kind of sensed that, so they didn't want to play the song. So that's when I realized, let me take that language barrier out of the picture. So I wanted to do a full-blown Spanish album.
Yeah.
That's what I did with Bachata Hindu, and also this time I didn't want it to water down or kind of make too many adjustments in the instrumentation, because bachata is a simple, straightforward style,
Absolutely,
for instruments. So I kept everything the same, The only Indian element I tried to bring in was replace the lead guitar with this instrument that is popular in Indian subcontinent called santoor. So that kind of gave that, slightly unique touch, I would say.
Interesting. I had to say the salsa one with Emily and then the bachata one, those are well-made video, music video.
Right.
Really well made. Even just the intro where you're working in a factory and all that. I'm like this guy has a future in acting for some reason.
Yeah, it was a little cheesy, but I thought it was needed for
How is the Bollywood community welcoming you or appreciating you?
As an actor?
Yeah.
So Bollywood is somewhat of a misnomer, I would say.
Right. Okay. Right?
Okay. Because Bollywood kind of indicates the film industry that is based in Mumbai or Bombay, and in Hindi language. Okay. So Hindi is the most spoken language in India.
Yeah.
But there are there are a total of 15, I think if I'm not mistaken, 15 different official languages.
Interesting.
Right. So just like Bollywood, which is based in Mumbai, there are 4 big other film industries in southern part of India.
Wow.
Massive industries, right? Yeah. And they churn out like hundreds of movies every year. And a couple of those industries are as big as or even bigger than Bollywood.
Yeah. So they got some great movies there, even in action movies, man.
Yes. If you get a chance, check out the movie from last year called War.
Okay.
The War.
Okay.
I think it was like really well done. Yeah.
By the way, Russell Peters tried his series there. I don't know why it was not successful.
You mean the stand-up stuff or?
No, it's not the stand-up. It's the Indian Detective or something. It's a series.
Oh yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah. It's because you have to remember, as I just said, it's not just Bollywood. There are multiple film industries, and there are thousands of really amazing actors out there who are trying to make it, and there are some established actors and stars as well. So to grab attention, stuff in the middle of all that,
yeah,
you got to be like, it has to be that good.
Yeah. Yeah. I figured like they're not going to renew this guy.
So the films that I produced were predominantly in that Bollywood space, like speaking. But the ones that I'm acting in are from the southern part of India.
Your company Tiranga Productions,
right?
That's the one that produced the 3 movies that you were talking about earlier. Okay.
Right.
But the Forensic and RAV9 or Lucifer,
yeah.
Those were not produced by you.
No. They just hired me
as an actor.
Correct.
Okay.
The RAV9.
I just saw a full movie on YouTube, the Lucifer. So I'll watch that tonight. I haven't watched it yet.
It's on Prime.
Okay. Oh, it's on Prime.
It's on Prime.
Oh, good. I got that.
Yeah. So that is like a big, larger than life kind of movie. And I play a pretty good character, I would say, in that. And the real advantage of doing that film was that the main actor, the lead actor in that film, Lucifer, he's one of the legends of Indian cinema.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And even the director, he's like an actor turned director as well, who's also like very big.
Yeah.
So to be able to work with them, and again, this was, and the director, he called me and offered this role, right? So that was also a very sweet thing. And a lot of people have watched that film. So it gave me a lot of exposure,
That's the idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. To be able to be a part of a landmark, almost like a landmark of the film. Yeah. So I think to be for any actor, being a recognizable face with the audience, that's a huge deal, right?
Any plans for a TV series? Maybe that's so popular right now.
Interesting that you asked, because I produced a TV series.
Which one is it?
It's called Metro Park.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Metro
it up
Park.
already? Is it up?
Yes, yes. So this is a comedy series.
Okay.
Again in Indian language, in Hindi,
Mm-hmm.
and it's shot in New Jersey. So it's about two Indian immigrant families. You know how they are trying to assimilate into the American culture at the same time holding on to their their old values, the
Yeah.
Indian values. So it's a nice comic take on that. So we did 10 episodes of that in the first season, and it got picked up by this platform called Eros, Eros, Eros.
Okay.
This is a platform similar to Netflix and
Yeah.
stuff, but
Yeah.
they focus or they specialize just in Indian content. So they picked it up 2 years ago. It became a big hit. So they commissioned us to do season 2. We were planning to start the shoot in April. Because of COVID, we couldn't. So we're going to go ahead and start it in September.
Okay. So, okay. Wow. See, this is good because really, because of this pandemic
Mm-hmm.
and because of the several outlets that we have now, Netflix, Prime, Amazon, Stars, you name it.
Right, right.
This TV series are really, really popular.
Right.
And I'm glad you're doing that because I think that's where it is now. Or even producing a movie that's going to be shown not directly in the theater, but directly Netflix or Prime Amazon.
Right.
That's now almost the norm.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier that you're shooting in November. What are you shooting in November?
Season 2 of Metro Park.
Got it.
Just
Okay.
Yeah, September actually. So it's not November, September.
September.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Is there any other projects? Next movie, maybe a sequel? Maybe, I don't know.
There's a sequel to Run'em that.
Is there?
That again, it's not announced or anything. They are thinking about it.
Okay.
And there's this another film that came my way. It's again with the director of Run'em. So I cannot reveal details on it, but it's a phenomenal concept. It's a little bit of it's mythology based. It's kind of a cross genre kind of thing,
Interesting.
But we are very much in the initial phase now. So I'm very excited to be a part of that,
So right now with your career, would you say that you're doing the music and you're doing the acting at the same time, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the music thing, Rod, the thing is that since I have a full-time job as well, as I mentioned before, right, I cannot just take off and go on a tour, for example, right? Because nowadays, for any musician, as you know, the way to get exposure for their music is to just play, just do more events, do a road tour, whatever, right? And I'm unable to do that. And of course, because of that, the reach that my work has also suffered, right?
Got it.
But I mean, this is what it's fine. I know, these are the self-imposed restrictions that I have, but I'm comfortable with that. So I'm actually planning on another bachata.
Another bachata song?
Another bachata song, yeah.
Good. All right.
Yeah, a single, probably not an album because that takes a lot of time, right? So I'm going to do probably another single. I just worked on a couple of tunes, in the last 2 months or so. So let's see. So that's the one, and then producing Metro Park, and then the acting jobs.
So the Metro Park thing is it's going to be a second season, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Second season. Yeah.
What's the general idea about the Metro Park? What is it?
So Metro Park is there are two Indian families. They're immigrant families
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey, who have settled in New Jersey. They are trying to become more Americanized.
I like the idea.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think a lot of us immigrants, especially the first generation immigrants, can relate to this.
Yeah.
Because they want to fit in. At the same time, they don't want to, let go of the values that they carry from their culture, right?
Right.
So how they manage to or at least trying to balance these things. Yeah, it's a really funny series actually. Yeah.
Amongst the films that so far you were involved in, specifically that you acted on,
right?
What do you think is your most rewarding?
It's a tough one because the definition of reward can be different for different ones, right?
Okay.
So as an actor, I really enjoyed my work in Ranam because there was more, or it was more of an organic process between myself and the director. He gave me more space.
I see.
Kind of, go through my own process and, get into that, that role and the scenes. So, so I felt, that was, I had more satisfaction, and that character as well is more similar to my own true nature because I'm, more like laid back, chill kind of, and so there's a lot of subtleties in there. So how to maintain that, but at the same time you get the emotions out, right? So that gave me a lot of satisfaction.
In forensics, did you use stunts? Did you do your own stunts in that one?
Yes, I did.
Are you kidding me?
I did. I actually posted a video of the making of one of where I break the glass and come out of the car. Yeah. That was an exhilarating moment, man. I mean, doing that, the stunt. The thing is that the producers and the directors, they kind of director, they kind of discouraged me and the lead actor to do our own stunts, because just the week before they were shooting another stunt for the same film, which also involved like breaking glass with another actor, right? Yeah. But they used a stunt double for that.
Okay.
And he ended up like cutting up his head open, and he had like 10 or 12.
Those were broken glass, man. Your head literally just came out of the car.
Right. So because of that, they were like, you know what, it has some risk, so it's better not to do it. And if anything happens, right, to me, or even the lead man, the main actor, then that means the shoot stalls,
Yeah.
And it's another risk. So they even shot the entire thing with the stunt double, and the whole thing.
Wow.
We kind of pushed, and I told him, I would love to do it. I was scared, but it was nice. It was interesting. Because the thing is that if you put a stunt double, right, then obviously the camera has to work with that. They cannot show a close up of my face.
It's a little bit hard when that face is coming out there and it's not your face,
Yeah. So they have to put maybe from the top or from the back,
Yeah.
After going through all that work, and I would say, let's do it, and so let's give it all, so that the final what people see on screen, that is not compromised, because they don't know what actually went behind making it, right?
Yeah.
So they just look at how good it is. That's all.
Exactly. How long, when you're making film like that, what's a typical duration? How many weeks?
Again, it varies depending on the scope of the film, right? Now, the films that I produce, since they are like indie films, small budget film, and I also the main director that I work with is also very conscious about the budget and everything. So we finish between 21 to 25 days.
That's not bad.
It's not right? Bad. So yeah, it's a small setup.
Yeah.
But a much bigger film of the stature of, be it Forensic or Lucifer. Lucifer actually took almost 6 months.
Really? Wow.
Forensic, I would say they started in October and finished by mid-December. So almost 2 months. And then January, I went back and we shot for another 10 days. Especially for that flashback scenes, where the appearance changes. So I would say 2.5 months. Yeah.
One of these days, my brother, I have not seen a good dance movie ever. you know, whether it was the Cuban Fury or any, it sucks. Okay, everything sucked. One of those days, if you have the will and the funds and the vision, you gotta do a good dance movie, dude. Not a typical story where a white woman meet a Latino and they fall in love. And come on.
What did you think of? I didn't see this film. What did you think of the one that the Tropical Gem guy put out?
I didn't see it. What is it? Oh, you mean with Ataka?
I don't know.
Ataka and them did something like in New York. I have not seen it.
So this was, I think, with Fernando, right, from Tropical Gem.
I am not sure. I know that there was a salsa movie that came out from New York, and the plot was they were gonna lose the studio, and so they have to compete and win to get that fund so that they can save the studio. I haven't watched the movie at all, but I think that's the plot.
Okay, I don't know if it's the same one, but this is the one with Fernando. I saw the trailer of that, and it was, you know, it was shot really nice, like, and again, really cool salsa moves and salsa dancing and stuff.
Trailers are usually, you know, look good, you know.
Yeah. But it's there, man. I mean, at some point, I definitely want to. And the thing is that since I was part of the community, you know, getting resources is not a problem at all, right? Yeah. On the creative side of things.
You just gotta hire good actors. That's all.
Yeah.
That could dance.
Yeah.
And it's really tough to create a good story like that, because most of the, as you know, the dance movies that I've seen, it's a typical story. Come on, guys, come on.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of times, you know, I wouldn't say, I cannot generalize it, but people think it's easy to fool the audience. You know,
no.
If you show some really crazy dance moves and with all the glitter and stuff, then people may not look at the substance. You know what I'm saying?
Look at you can't fool Americans, especially when I'm watching a movie like, let's say the movie Star is Born with Brad Cooper, right?
Yeah.
Now, I am a movie buff, so this guy is his first directing, so I'm gonna critique the dude, right?
Yeah.
But the dude did everything well. The angles, I mean, like, that is so well made, and I cannot believe that it didn't win an Oscar.
It got nominated, right?
Yeah, it got nominated.
Yeah, I have like mad respect for him, man. Bradley Cooper. You know,
he did everything right in that movie.
Right, everything. And I was reading this article by Willie Nelson's son, who apparently, you know, trained him with especially playing the guitar part. You know, what are the mannerisms of the singer, like, you know, all that thing.
He said he was tapping into Neil Young, and Neil Young happened to be my favorite, and it makes sense.
Yeah. And it's and to direct and act in the same, you know, at the same time. Holy shit, that's
and do it well.
Do it well, and different league altogether. Yeah.
So we've already talked about your plans and what's next. Metro Park coming up for second season.
Right.
No movies as of yet.
So it's because in everything is pretty much a standstill.
Got it. Yeah.
And the thing is that in India, even the Producers Association, they have these different associations. So they have said, you know, we're not going to let, you know, any new movies to be produced, because there's a backlog of the films that need to get released. So let's take care of them.
That's what they're doing right now. They're releasing it in Netflix or Prime Time.
Right. So I think probably by December or January timeframe, they're gonna start shooting again. So any acting that I will sign will only happen after that.
And then you're coming up with a new bachata song.
Yes.
Is it with also a bachata music video? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Dude, you could just hire some people in their industry. You don't have to pay them.
Oh no, man. I mean, I have pulled in a lot of favors, and I'm so grateful for a lot of them. You know,
our community, as you know, we support each other, and we love the fact that you're still humble. You haven't forgotten where you came from. And when you do that in our industry, they don't forget you. They will always support you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you. And
you still get in touch with your fellow dance team members?
yeah, man. Dude, the thing is that, I mean, you can probably relate to this. Like the lifelong friendships that you have made I mean, for me, becoming part of the salsa community or having discovered salsa, that was essentially the turning point of my life. I'm not saying this lightly, right?
Mm.
Literally, you know, I met the love of my life, you know,
Yeah,
my wife
yeah,
from that.
yeah.
My friend, hey baby, she's like, well said.
That's the secret of marriage.
Married, right? And so many close friends, man. I mean, I'm very close to, you know, Miguel, Mayuko, and there's Jero. There's like a lot of, I mean, Dimitri,
Big
Dimitri?
Rob got married
Big,
recently, I
yeah.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Rob.
And
So there's so many of them, and Juliet, you know.
Juliet's still
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, even if, you know, we have all kind of left the dance scene specifically, but we still have these relationships, you know, long lasting.
I have to say, Salsa Mania is one of the best franchise when it comes to
Yeah.
salsa teams. I have to say, not just
Yeah.
in the Bay Area, bro.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
just in
yeah.
the Bay Area.
Yep.
Really, John and Liz really did great. Created a good empire in this, a
Right.
long-lasting empire at that.
Yeah. And I think it's because of the values that they you know, the church and the whole, you know,
Their work
because,
ethic.
yeah, exactly, because it kind of trickles down, right?
Yeah.
Because they are setting examples, you know, of, you know, what are the things that we should value the most in a company. So it kind of, you know, promotes that family oriented atmosphere, because, you know, people are like so fiercely loyal to South Mania. You know, people who are there, they're fiercely loyal, and
Yeah.
you can see people staying in. I mean, I stayed for like 7 years.
And you know why you guys are loyal to this leaders like John and Liz?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're very loyal people.
Yeah.
In the first
very
place,
loyal, humble, right? Yeah.
John and Liz works in our salsa room, meaning they're the one who hosts that in my festival.
Yeah.
And they've always been loyal. When they hire a sound man, when they hire you the first time, you know you're gonna work for them forever. Like, so you see those traits, you know.
Right. Because they also invest in building relationships, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not just a transaction-based relationship.
Right.
You know? They care for people, you know, they invest their time, so that obviously, you know, they get a return based on that as well. Yeah.
Do you miss it?
I miss dancing, yes. But no, I think I had about 10, 12
Do you
years.
have some type of outlet there in Austin, like a dance social that fulfills sometimes your urge?
They are. I mean, it's obviously the scene is not, you know, not big or anything here, but there are like 2 or 3 clubs where, so me and Kristen, whenever we feel the itch, we just go out and, you know, dance it out.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't miss, man. I don't miss it. I think I had a pretty good run, you know. I feel like, you know, and I even after leaving Salsa Mania, and, you know, I started my own company, and then even after stopping that, even after retiring, if I can call it.
Right.
I had this, man, I miss it. Should I do it again? So I know it was at that time, Luis Aguilar.
Yeah.
You know, he asked me if I could join for a Shines number. You know,
Yeah.
And I loved it, and I came back and did it. I think we performed at the Congress as well. But after that, I figured out, you know what? It's actually, you know, if I don't do it again, I'm fine.
Yeah,
so
it's the same thing with me. I mean, at a short point, I was traveling all over the world teaching, and then at some point, you would feel like there's this new opportunity that I'd like to do, and then you put your full effort in that new opportunity, in that new vision. Correct. And that's exactly what happens to you, and that's what's happening now, which is, I'm so proud of you, dude.
Thank
I
you.
was watching that film and I was smiling throughout the film, even though you were a bad guy. And what's the last question here?
Yeah.
I know you also work. You have a job.
Right.
What's a typical day for an actor that has a job and has a film company?
So I can only, speak for myself. In my case, compared to when I was in salsa,
Yeah.
right? When I was actively in salsa,
Yeah.
it was pretty much having 2 jobs.
Wow.
Right. So you do your daytime job, and at 7 o'clock or so, you drive an hour to get to practice, and you practice until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. You drive back, right? And you do that like 3-4 times a week, and then we also go out to our Kokomo nights and Acapulco, whatever, right?
Oh yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
So it was essentially having 2 jobs, right? But compared to that, with my music and movie activities, it's much more relaxed, I would say. With the music, definitely I can set the pace.
Yeah.
Right, because I'm working in my own terms. With the movie stuff, if it is production, if it's my own production, then in the pre-production phase, so 3 months leading up to the actual shoot itself, that a lot of work. So that's when, that's a lot of work. And then of course the shoot itself, right? So I would say on a 4 to 5 months, it's really, really, hectic.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't happen all the time, right? So it's only during the production. And the acting, and out of everything, acting I would say is the easiest one, because you just have to prepare for the role.
That's true. That's true.
Right. So, and all that you can do in your own free time, you can do your own research, all that, and then you show up, you act, and you leave. That's it. Right.
It's good. I forgot to ask you, do you write your own songs?
Yes, so in the beginning, with the first album and everything, I did not. I had a really amazing music director back in India.
Yeah.
And we hired for the Latin instrumentation. We hired the instrumentalists from here, musicians from here. Yeah. Recorded it and sent it back to him. But it was my 3rd single. I composed my own, which was it was a mix of reggaeton and bhangra. You know bhangra? Yeah. So it's called Mas Bhangraton. So it was a very high energy number. So that was my first song that I composed, and then I did Bachata Hindu. I composed all the songs, but I have to say, although I did compose all the songs, even the lyrics and everything, I had Christian Tumalan. He was a co-producer. So when you have a Grammy-winning artist, talented. Oh man, yeah, he essentially he produced the entire thing with me. He also coached me. Especially in the singing, right, in the diction, with the language and everything. So I was very fortunate to I found him as my co-producer.
So go ahead and well, we know that Forensic is on Netflix right now.
Right.
We also know that I think Lucifer, you mentioned earlier that it's on Prime.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else is on the outlet besides? I know some of them are YouTube right now, right?
So Ola Venki is the only one that is on YouTube.
Okay.
Ola Venki is on YouTube. Actually, you can also watch Love, Wrinkle, Free and Freelancer on Prime as well.
Nice. Okay. And what about the Metro Park?
Metro Park is on a separate platform called Eros now, so you have to download the app and all.
Got it.
But you can also watch the first episode of the season on YouTube. And they have a trailer and a lot of things over there. And
when it comes to your salsa album or your pop album, where can they buy those?
So it's everywhere. It's in all the major outlets. So it's on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play.
Probably on Spotify also, isn't it?
Spotify, yes.
Yeah.
Spotify as well. Yeah.
Great.
And I try to keep my website also pretty up to date. So people can find all my songs there as well.
What's the website?
Listen to it. It's gijujohn.com. GIJUjohn.com.
Yeah, no H.
No. Other than in John. Yeah.
Anyway, brother, thanks for the time. thanks for keeping in touch. We will keep in touch for sure. If you have any new project and it's produced and it's posted, you let me know, and we'll do another interview, and we'll chat some more.
Yeah. Hey, Rod, thank you so much, man. I mean, it's by the way, congrats and good luck with the blog. You know, and I wish you the best. And
we'll
I
see.
know, yeah. I know we go a long way back, and it's thank you for all the warmth and all the love that you have shown me all along.
Anytime, brother. And you know, good luck to you, and stay safe. And say hi to Kristen for me, okay?
Will do. All right. Take care, bro.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.